trades in Adopt Me unless I am overpaying a bunch or getting a huge lose. I've been using elvesbredd, I've been using Adopt Me GG, I have even been using www.adoptme6767KYS, I hate my life calculator.com, and yet I am still not able to get a trade because people want me to overpay by 100. I don't understand. I'm literally overpaying and nobody's doing any of my trades. What's going on?
Well, say no more to whatever that was, because today I'm going to be explaining Adopt Me values and Adopt Me economics in general, step by step, in great detail. And after watching this video, I promise you, you're going to achieve a deep level of understanding of Adopt Me values, because honestly, in my opinion, it is more complicated than it looks, and it is harder to become a good trader than it looks, and it's really easy to get frustrated with the values, as well as are constantly changing, and there's just like so little that some of you guys watching this may know, and I hope this video helps you out in every way that it can. Okay, so you're probably a little confused on the two laws that I showed previously. What is supply and what is demand? Okay, let's start with supply. Supply is the amount of the pet that is in the game. And I think it is a bit easier to understand than demand. There are three main factors, I would say, that contribute to supply. Firstly, when was the pet available? What year did the pet come out? And how long was the pet in the game for? This one is pretty straightforward, but the example that I went with was the giraffe and the strawberry bat dragon. That might be because those were the only ones I could find on Pixar, but nonetheless, the giraffe came out in 2019, and the strawberry bat dragon came out in 2022. Older pets are more valuable because there's a lower supply of them, there's a lower amount of them in the game, and you will never get more of them because, pets never come back in Adopt Me.
Well, why is an older pet worth more than a newer one? I don't understand.
And that question brings me into my next point. What was Adopt Me's player count at the time of the event or the pet being released? Typically in the older years, specifically 2019, Adopt Me did not have a lot of players, and even the players that it did have, a good amount of them who got all of these rare pets quit the game, and those pets are just sitting in the inventories, rotting, and they basically do not exist. I mean, unless the player comes back or gives the pets to their little sister or something, they're gone. So take that player count, which was already low to begin with, and then you can basically divide that in half. So because not a lot of people played, not a lot of people were able to get that pet, and yet everybody seems to want that pet, and that is why the supply is low but the demand is high. But that is not always the case. Oftentimes Adopt Me can have pets that are relatively new and are still worth a ton and worth more than older pets are. And a great example of this is the, drumroll please, balloon unicorn. That pet is basically worth a kidney and a liver, and it is pretty new. It came out in Summerfest of 2024. Why is it so rare? Well, not a lot of people played at the time. We had a relatively lower player count, and that's why the supply of it is pretty low, and everybody seems to want it. But if we compare the balloon unicorn to the snow owl is an older pet. It came out, I believe, winter 2020, and yet it is worth a quarter. I think it's literally a quarter on Star Pets, if I'm not mistaken. And why is that? Well, that time was pretty popular in Adopt Me. 2021 as a whole was a very popular year for Adopt Me, and Snow Owl was also very easily obtained, which is my next point. And because there are a lot of players, there are so many Snow Owls in the game, and everybody has them, so they're just not worth a lot. How hard or how easy is it to get the pet? Okay, there are a lot of factors to this, but the main ones, I'm going to talk about the exact same example I did previously, Snow Owl versus Balloon, Horse, Unicorn. Snow Owl, you get that through gingerbread. You're able to get that by yourself. You get that just from playing the game and getting the gingerbread, and it's pretty easy because as long as you do it, it doesn't cost you any actual money to get it. The Balloon Unicorn was a whopping 1,000 Robux, which is, I think, about $15, and that is only if you bought it at the time of the event. So it was pretty expensive, and therefore not that many people bought it. It was a lot easier to get the Snow Owl, and because there are more players were able to get it. That's why it's just worth dramatically less than the Balloon Unicorn. And another thing, a lot of pets in Adopt Me, you actually are spending Robux and you don't even know for sure if you're going to get it. So the example I'm going to use are the Queen, King Bees, those ones. You have a 2.5% chance of getting a Queen Bee. Okay, that means if a honey is 200 Robux and you bought 100 honeys, only we're going to round up, 3 of those 100 honeys are going to end up being Queen Bees. 3 out of 100. 100 honeys times 200 Robux per honey is 20,000 Robux. Now that is literally the price of a mansion in Texas. I'm kidding, but you can probably get a car. Okay, no you can't, but that's not the point. It's a lot of money and it's really expensive. And there's less of them. It directly impacts the supply. The reason why Queen Bees aren't worth as much as a Blue Unicorn, for example, is because Blue Unicorn was only available for, I'm going to say, a week. The Queen Bees have been in the game since think it was November of 2019. Okay, they've been in the game for, steadily 5.5 years. That's why there's still a good amount of them. A lot of people have bought the honeys. And also a lot of people just buy it because it's cheaper and get lucky. Everything's possible. But, I'm just saying that directly impacts the amount of the pet in the game. What is demand? Like, what does that actually mean? Okay, this one is a little tricky to understand because demand is really subjective, which means that not every player is going to agree with it, and it's really just majority rules. So if majority thinks a pet is cute, it's going to go up in value, and people are going to get a little upset about it sometimes. Sometimes it's reasonable, sometimes it's not. But we're going to stick with the same example. The balloon unicorn is considered to be a very cute pet and is very wanted by everyone because of its looks, because it is just really cute. Which, I agree with it. I think it is cute. So because there's not a lot of it in the game, the supply is low, as we talked about. Okay, why? It was expensive, and there weren't that many players in the game, and it was available for a short period amount of time. There's not a lot of supply, and because it is considered widely cute amongst most Adopt Me players, the demand is way up, and that is why it is worth so much, because the value of it increased a ton, because everybody likes it, and there's just not a lot of it. There's just not enough for it to be, obtainable easy. It's hard to get it. Snow owl, on the other hand, I wouldn't say it's ugly, but I think there's just so much of it. The supply, if we're going to go back to the law that I mentioned previously, the supply is up, so the demand has to go down. That's just a law. Why the demand, in my opinion, is the most important factor of all values in Adopt Me is because it will literally change everything, okay? I'm going to show you guys, an example. The Aussie egg, right? You have the kangaroo and the turtle. They were both pretty equal in supply. It's the same pet, it's from one egg. You have a chance of getting both. And yet, the turtle is worth so much more than the kangaroo just because of the looks. Even though I would say both of the pets are pretty cute, but turtle is a fan favorite and everybody wants it, okay? There's just too many people that want a turtle and not enough people that want a kangaroo. So that's why the turtle is worth a lot more. Another example is the dragon and the unicorn. I think most people consider the red dragon pretty ugly, and the unicorn is considered to be better than the dragon, worth more. Why? Because of the demand. Because supply-wise, they came out at the same time, they're in the same egg, it's the same, you can through the same way. So oftentimes demand will overpower the supply, a lot. It is the most important factor. Something else that is really important, and I have to mention, is that I feel like it's overlooked. Nobody talks about this, is the stability of the pet itself. Okay, so let's say, for example, and this is pretty important, okay? When a pet, I feel like I've seen this a lot, but when a pet comes out, and it is hard to get it, and it's cute, keep that in mind. When the Crystal X first came out, I think that giant panda was in fact worth 3 babies, okay? Everybody wanted it, it was new, and when something's new, it kind of creates a sense of urgency to get it. So certain players have a lot of pets, and then nobody has this new thing, and it's hard to get it, and it's cute. When it first comes out, it's going to be worth a ton, because everyone wants it, and everyone's going to think that they can get a better offer for it than the other person. And if a pet is like that, that means it is unstable. Okay, the value is going to be going up and down. So currently, unstable pets in the game are the Dango Penguins, Dragon Fruit Fox, the Giant Panda. Those are all pretty unstable. They might be worth a lot currently, but the value is going to be going down as we move forward because I think the Crystal Egg is going to be in the game for a while. I know I'm patching in the videos, but I am a fan of it. And honestly, I don't really care. Those pets are unstable because there's currently a low supply of them, but it's going to be increasing, and when supply increases, the demand will decrease, the value will decrease. So just keep that in mind. Stable pets, on the other hand, are older pets that we've seen before. Okay, Bat Dragon, Shadow Dragon, and Giraffe. Those ones are going to be pretty stable forever. I don't think the demand of those is going to drop much because the supply will actually only drop from there. And another reason why supply could drop is because a lot of people that have the older pets, even though and alongside the fact that the player count on Adopt Me was low, those players who played during those updates, they don't play Adopt Me anymore, and their accounts with their inventories and those rare pets are just sitting there and rotting because they're inactive, and then their inventories have all these pets. So the supply will actually be going down. It will not increase. It will only increase if a lot more players come back, but I don't really know if that's gonna happen. But point is, older pets that are worth a lot are pretty stable. Balloon Unicorn, I would say, even though it's not older, it would also be pretty stable because I think it is widely considered cute by many. And I actually think it's going to be only going up instead of going down.
Now, I don't know exactly why certain time eras of Adopt Me had less or more players. Fortunately, I'm not getting paid to do this, and studying and researching that is a little time consuming. I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to give an example of last summer of 2025. Adopt Me player count was at an all-time low. I think it was between, you can Google this, 40 to 80,000 people, which is incredibly low for Adopt Me because it is a top Playground Blocks game. I suspect it is because of external factors like Girl Garden, where everybody went on to play that. But the pets that came out in Summerfest are still not worth that much. I feel like a lot of people consider last year's Summerfest pets to be pretty ugly, and the demand for them is incredibly low. So even though the supply and the demand is low for these pets, they are still not worth that much, like, because I guess people just don't want them. I think if the mermaid unicorn, I think the design choices of it could be a little bit better. I think the green hair, yeah, I would have done that differently. I think if it was done differently, that pet could have been worth a ton, because it is still pretty rare. I never see it in game, and I feel like it is underrated still, but it's just not worth that much just because the demand of it is low. And this just goes to show how much demand can really overpower supply, and why it is really important in Adopt Me values. And this is just if you're curious to note, certain popular Adopt Me time eras. 2021 as a whole, that year was incredibly popular, especially earlier 2021 and late 2020. That was also very popular, that Christmas update. And then the whole Aussie egg, the whole ocean egg broke freaking world records. That's why it was really popular, and it's just not worth that much, those eggs there, because I feel like a lot of players played Adopt Me at the time. Other really popular time eras, I want to say late 2022, fall and winter 2022. Adopt Me got so many, like, a player boost from that. I don't really know why. Once again, I haven't found the answers to every single question, but I know I came back personally during that time, and I have some friends that came back during that time as well, and Adopt Me player count was just in general higher. I, like, literally found evidence of this because I scrolled down to Adopt Me's TikToks of that time, and, like, they all had millions and millions of views. And then, like, after that, like, spring of 2023, the view count was 100,000, 200,000, so dramatically lower. I'm gonna be so brutally honest. Some of you elvesbredd, Adopt Me, GG Value, Insanely Rich fans, okay, I'm gonna call you guys fans of these websites, are all miserable and depressed. And I think you truly are not gonna get a happy Adopt Me experience if you are so insanely focused on numbers and values. I swear, you see your pets as a number, and you don't see your pet as a pet. I think that's honestly the main problem with Adopt Me and its society, to be honest with you, because what has it become? Why is it so complicated? If this is you, if you are seriously looking at your pet as a number, and you are basically doing stock trading, you can go focus on NFTs and stay away from Adopt Me. But if you are just trying to get good pets in Adopt Me, as most people are, honestly, the best way is do not trade and accept trades of pets that are hard to get. Okay, this is really important. Or not hard to get, I meant hard to trade. If a pet is hard to trade and you get it, you're done. You are probably not going to get an offer. So what makes a pet hard to trade? The demand. If a pet is, like, ugly and new and not old, but it's still worth something, it's just gonna be hard to trade. Like, for example, a frostbite bear, it's not stable. Any pet that's unstable and value is dropping, it's gonna be hard to trade, especially if it's relatively ugly. Like, even right now, giant panda, dango penguins, those are really cute, so they are fairly easy to trade. Frostbite bear, in my opinion, is chopped. Okay, it's chopped. It's ugly. And I am saying this because I today fell into this propaganda and accepted a trade where somebody offered me a neon fluoride frostbite bear because it was a win for me according to elvesbredd, and I was lucky to trade it, because every single trade I would put it up as, like, an offer, everyone would say replace it because it's HTT. HTT means hard to trade. And I was like, damn, like, what did I get myself into here? So please be careful and do not trade for pets that are hard to trade. Something important to think about as well, when you are trading a higher tier pet and somebody's offering you a ton of mega neons, or if it's the other way around, vice versa, you are offering a ton of megas, neons for a regular higher tier pet, you have to be careful with that when you are accepting and declining an offering for this item. If you are the one trading the frost in this situation, I would say hit accept and do this trade, because it is a win. And you're probably wondering, well, who's going to be overpaying for a pet by almost 12? Well, a lot of people, because something like a frost, giraffe, owl, whatever old pet it is, those have a high demand, like we talked about. And those pets are often people's dream pets, and they are willing to overpay and go to extreme lengths to get that pet. But only accept these kinds of trades if they are well over and you are able to trade some, but not all of it, back for that pet. So as you can see in this example, you are trying to trade a part of that offer that you got, but not all of it, back for that frost that you had. And if it worked, congratulations, you just made a profit. If it didn't work, I'm sure it will. You will just have to find somebody that is willing to do it, and you gotta act fast, because the demand is going up and down. But luckily for older pets, it is stable. But for your offer specifically, some of those lower tier pets could be dropping. Keep that in mind. So you gotta be fast, and you gotta just search long enough, and I'm sure you will find somebody who will do a fair trade for the frost, okay? Or if you overpay slightly. So your goal is to accept big overpays and then trade back for smaller overpay. I would like to call this method profit trading, and it will work as long as you are able to do these fast enough before the value can drop or change too much. You just have to find the right people, switch servers enough times, and with a little bit of luck and being quick, you'll be able to get a lot of profit. I have proof before. I have literal trade history where I started out with, like, a pet, traded it the entire day, and ended up with that exact same pet along with so many others along with it, because I just made a profit. Like, I got extra pets for free. Like with the frost I showed, you basically got a neon chameleon and a neon kitsune for free. And this happens regularly. Like, you just have to get a little lucky and be fast, and you'll be able to get a profit trade, I promise. Of course, not all of you guys watching this have frosts and have higher tier pets or even have a lot of mega pets. If you want tips on that, that would be a separate video I can make on how to get rich in Adopt Me. I have made these in the past, they are quite outdated. I can give you tips on that if you would like. Just comment down below. This is specifically focused on trading, on how to be a good trader and knowing what trades you should be accepting and declining. And then lastly, for trading, I want to talk about with the accepting or declining trades with pets that are hard to get. I would recommend accepting trades that have pets, kangaroo and turtle, and then backwards. You go back in time. Those ones are always stable. Okay, those ones are going to be easy to trade. Pets that are hard to trade would be pets that, like the frost bear, are hard to get at first, but as time goes on, more and more people are getting them, and especially if the pets are a little ugly or not. So any event pet that, even if it was Robux or hard to get, if it's just not that cute and isn't that high in demand, I would try to steer free of accepting trades for it, because you're just gonna have a really tough time trading it. Pets that are just like nobody's dream pet, you're never gonna trade that away. No one wants it. And if I'm being completely honest and transparent, I think all trading websites should be banned because it just ruined trading for me. I don't like it. I get pissed off really easily. And as an OG player, trading used to be so easy. It used to be like oh, I like that unicorn. Do you want my giraffe or your unicorn? Yes, of course I do. And life was just so much easier and simpler, and Adopt Me was a lot more enjoyable. Now, people want huge overpays, and I think if you are wanting too much, you're not going to get it. Like, no one's going to be overpaying for your neon fly ride. I'm gonna go with cryptid. Hey, no one's giving you a mega shadow dragon for that. I promise you, no one's doing that unless they're quitting the game or if they're an extremely famous YouTuber. But anywho, that is all for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope that this helped you understand values, and I hope you guys become amazing traders and get super rich after watching this. Another tip, lastly, I want to give is just trade for things you actually like and pets that you actually think are cute and that make you happy, okay? Because then even if it's a lose, you're just gonna love the pet. You just trade what you feel you want. Just be happy. Like, stop viewing your pet as a number, honestly. I try to do that. I just trade for whatever makes me happy, and I'm not overpaying a ton. I keep values in mind, but literally do what makes you happy. That's the point of Adopt Me, and that's the point of the game. If you have any questions on values or trading or literally anything, comment down below and I will respond, because I know there are so many things that I know and I didn't mention right now, because this video would just be way too long, and there's just a lot. Okay, a lot more that I didn't say. So if you have any questions at all in regards to what I said, your trades, or anything that happened to you in game, just let me know and I will answer in the comments. Also, let me know if there are any specific videos that you would like to see from me. I'm thinking of how to become a pro grinder or how to become rich and Adopt Me. Let me know what you guys think. As always, make sure to like and subscribe, and most importantly, comment, because I just love reading your guys' comments. I think that is better than subscribing or liking the video. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye, V Squad!